Yo, what is good, YouTube? It is your boy Make America Lit, back with another NBA 2K24 video. And in today's video, we have something very interesting that we're going to actually be taking a look at. Today, we are going to be discussing or looking into whether you should be using NBA 2K's NBA player templates instead of making your own. So, new to NBA 2K24 is these new NBA templates. So now right here, if you go to the left, you'll see that you'll be creating your own build. But if you want, you can go to the right, and instead of just creating your own build, I'm going to just open this up really quickly, left-handed, and then you can create your own template or whatever and choose, whatever build you want. They have this new thing where you can choose from an NBA template, and you can pretty much decide, what type of player you want: LaMelo, Brunson, Cade, Luka, Scoot Henderson, and stuff. For each position, they'll have somebody that you can possibly pick to kind of mimic your game from. Now, I seen this, and I seen a lot of people talking about this, right? A lot of people seem to be very excited about this. Everybody was talking about the new NBA pre-built templates and stuff, and it had me thinking, like, you know what? This just seems like another way for 2K to kind of finesse us and trick us into, making a build or using this to make a build. And, we're going to end up not meeting a lot of the thresholds that we want or that we need, for, good builds. And then another thing that I noticed was, a lot of guys weren't on this list. And that was like one of the major things that I kind of looked at, and I was like, it is kind of weird that a good majority of players, LeBron James isn't here, Kevin Durant isn't here, Joel Embiid isn't here. Like, a lot of the top players that you would want to mimic your build after or be after. There's no Steph Curry, as you see me going through the PGs and stuff. There's no Steph Curry there or anything. So, it kind of made me go, interesting. I'm pretty sure there's no Shai Gilgeous-Alexander build either here. So, there's a lot of builds that are, conveniently missing, which just tells us that, you won't be able to make those players, or you won't be able to mimic or create them, So that made me think, well, if we can't create the top players, then a lot of these players we probably won't be able to recreate, or these builds won't be like those players' builds either. For example, they have a Luka Doncic who's a 95 overall. You telling me that this is the Luka Doncic build? Like, so what I did was I sat here and I got this build, right, which is 2K's build, and then I tried to recreate our own Luka Doncic build based on Luka's actual stats in the game. You know what I'm saying? So, I didn't do this on the game. I just looked it up online or whatever to see what his stats and stuff like that were. But what you can do is, you can go into, actually, let me cancel this. You can go into create roster, or you can look it up online if you choose to, it's up to you, truthfully. But I only did this for 3 builds, and I tested like the 3 most popular builds that I thought people would go for the most, and that was Luka, Anthony Davis, because I've seen a lot of people talking about Anthony Davis build being good, and then I did LaMelo Ball, because I've seen a lot of people talking about LaMelo Ball, and he's a good dribbler, shooter, passer. People were talking about using his build, and you can see Luka is a 95 overall. Now, you could go online and look up his stats. You don't even have to do all of this and come here, but these are going to be the stats that we use or try to get. But off rip, you can see that build was nowhere near. I don't think that build was anywhere close to a 98 ball handle that Luka has. I think that build was like a 85 ball handle or something like that. So that's like what 90, 85. That's like a 13-point difference. So I don't even want to know the difference in badges, So we're going to be looking into these builds and seeing if they're even worth using in NBA 2K24. So without further ado, let's fully jump into this video. Okay, so let's start with Anthony Davis build first. So the first thing I did was, look up, information on his build. I looked up, his, stats and stuff. I went into the roster, And I wanted to just make sure that his wingspan and stuff, I couldn't find his wingspan. I was able to find his attributes, but of course they don't have his wingspan there. So I had to go and look up online and see, if, he indeed has a 7'6" wingspan, which he actually does have a 7'6" wingspan. So, that was one part of, our, research done. From there, I'm just going to show you guys his actual stats, which I got from the 2K rating website. So you could just Google Anthony Davis 2K24 ratings, and it should take you to the site, and you could just look up whatever players for all rosters too. So they have the ratings for not just the online rosters, but for the historic teams and all of that stuff too, as well as my team ratings too. So, shout out to them if you do want to go look up some of these players. So these are his stats. As you can see here, his outside scoring, his inside scoring, his defending, his rebounding, playmaking, and athleticism, right? Which are really good stats, and then we're going to look at 2K's version, so right there you see, a 90 close shot, a 70 layup, 82 driving dunk, 81 standing, post control, all of that stuff, And the thing about these templates is that I'll say that for, there's a few categories where, they either reach the threshold that the player actually has, or it's, this, just slightly underneath. But for the most part, a lot of these ratings, just doesn't come close to their actual, real life build, if you will. If you go to the online rosters or just the rosters in general that 2K updates throughout the year, they're not coming close to that. So what I did was I compared these two, and then from there, we created our own version, which right here, as you can see on the screen, this is my version of Anthony Davis build. You can see that, I was able to, just off looking at this, I got like way better stats, for a couple of things. But this is what I wanted to showcase, that, you can create Anthony Davis. You can go look at Anthony Davis build and create your own Anthony Davis build and make a better version than the 2K template. And that's really what we wanted to be, researching and finding out. Are these 2K template builds even worth using? So finally what I did was, as you can see right here, just a little, Word document that I typed up here or whatever. And I'm just comparing the two builds. So in the green is, on the left side is our build that we created ourselves from 2K's build. And then on the right is the 2K template version of Anthony Davis. And as you can see, for majority of the categories, this build, the build that we created ourselves, is better than the 2K template build. We beat them in close shot, we beat them in layup, we beat them in stand and dunk, we beat them in post control, we beat them in mid range, we beat them in ball handle, interior defense, steal, and speed. The only thing our build was lower or not as good as 2K's template was the drive and dunk. I couldn't get high up like to an 82. The speed with ball, they got a higher speed with ball at 55 versus our 45. They got a higher perimeter defense at 71 versus our 44. They have a slightly higher block at an 87 versus the 85 I was able to get. And then the rebounding is way better. They have a 70 offensive with an 86 defensive. I have a 31 offensive with a 65 defensive. And then, the strength, they have a 1 point higher strength at 70 versus our 69. And then they have a 92 stamina versus our 90 stamina, which, like I said, a lot of these are very, negligent. Like a 69 strength and a 70 strength isn't going to make that much of a difference. Now, you do want to look at these attributes because it might make a difference to a badge threshold that you can get. But outside of that, a 69 strength and a 70 strength ain't going to really make much of a difference. A 90 stamina, a 92 stamina ain't going to really make much of a difference. The 30 even categories to where our build was better, like a 39 steal versus a 36 steal, that's not going to make much of a difference. Those 3 points in the steal isn't going to magically make us get more steals or just be a better defender. So yeah, like this build to me, I would say, and keep in mind that this was a build that I created myself, trying to tweak and get as close to Anthony Davis as possible. And me personally, I chose his offense over anything else, because I felt like, you know, when you think Anthony Davis, you do think defense for sure. You think defense, you think shot blocking, which is why I made sure I got that 85 block. But primarily, when I think Anthony Davis, I think of shot blocking and I think of offense scoring. You know what I'm saying? Being able to score in a post, being able to score down low, being able to, you know, put your back to the basket and you know, get a bucket. And you know, just looking at these stats, I could just say, like, you know, now it really all depends on what aspect of his game that you want to mimic. But with Anthony Davis being such a good player, it's kind of hard to just really encapsulate his build as it is, or his playing or play style as it is, you know, without going over the attributes, obviously. Now, you probably could get, you know, better rebounding and, you know, a better drive and dunk, but my stamina is going to be nowhere near a 90 or a 92. My vertical probably won't be anywhere near a 70. My speed, acceleration, and all of this, my physicals would lack, but I would have the defense and the rebounding and the perimeter defense and this drive and dunk. But you're going to lack somewhere else, so I didn't want to do that, you know? So there you have it. That's the reason why Anthony Davis, to me, in my opinion, his template just isn't that good, because you can't make a better version of his build than what 2K gives us, right? Then moving on, we're looking at Luka Doncic's real stats. So right here, you see his outside scoring, his inside scoring, his defending, athleticism, playmaking, and rebounding, which is just absolutely ridiculous. Which, I mean, I'm glad they actually giving him, you know, the stats he kind of deserves. As a Mavericks fan, you know, people try to slight him a little bit, but it is what it is. So now we're going to look at 2K's version of Luka's template or whatever. And you can see these stats are lackluster. He had a 98 ball handle, and we're looking at an 85 ball handle. I think he had a 98 or 99 pass accuracy. They got his passing right, but his three-point is kind of lower. There's just certain aspects, you know, I don't know, man. Like, just looking at the defense alone, it's just like this build, you know, Luka doesn't play defense, but this is 2K. You're going to want to be able to play defense. Like, yeah, I want to play like Luka, but I also want to be able to play defense. I don't want my man giving 50 on my head, you know. So I tried to create Luka a best to our abilities of getting his build accurately based on his stats. And this is what I came up with here, as you can see. 86 close shot, 85 layup, 73 drive and dunk, 88 mid, 86 3, 91 pass accuracy, and 90 ball handle, which the pass accuracy is 5 points lower than their 96, but the ball handle is 5 points higher than their 85, and it's still 8 points lower than the 98 that he actually has on his build. So it's like, it's really hard to create some of these players, which is probably why they don't have Joel Embiid. They don't have LeBron James. They don't have Kevin Durant, because they know that there's just, you know, just realistically no way for you guys to really make these builds to a T, you know. So I guess that's the reason why they don't have those templates, because these templates don't do a lot of these builds justice, you know what I'm saying? So that was our Luka build or whatever. And then this is the comparison. So again, on the left is our build that we created, and then on the right is Luka's 2K template build that they have. So right here, you see we beat them out in close shot. They beat us by 2 in drive and layup. Our drive and dunk is 2 points higher, which you can go with a 71 or a 70, but I went with a 73 just so that we get bronze posterizer, which helps with dunking in traffic. 0 standing dunk for our build, but they have a 45, so they beat us out in there. And then they beat us out in the post control. Now, post control was like the one thing that I went back and forth with on this build, because Luka does post up a lot. And I feel like you can't really call yourself a Luka build unless you can do a little something in the post. Not saying that you got to go crazy 85, 90 or anything post control, but, you know, if you look at his real stats or whatever, like his actual you know, stats on the website or whatever, his post control is an 85 for his actual build. So that's why I feel like, you know, it kind of sucks that I went with 0, but I wanted to get other aspects of his game. And you can see that our build is vastly superior to their build. Even though we don't have post control, which is a key part of his game, our build is still vastly superior. We have a better mid-range. We have a way better 3-ball than them. The free throw is the same. But the pass accuracy, they beat us in pass accuracy, but we beat them in ball handle. Speed with ball is the same. The interior defense they beat us in, but like this is what I mean when I say it's very negligible. 34 interior defense, there's not much of a difference between a 34 and a 44. It's a 10-point difference, but a 44 interior defense might as well be a 34, which might as well be a 0 interior defense because people are still going to score on you. Big men are still going to score on you. It's not going to make a difference. Maybe if this was like a 64, 64, 74 interior defense, then you might have like an argument, but a 44 and a 34, it's not going to make much of a difference. Same thing with the block. A 0 and a 40 block ain't going to really make much of a difference. You're not going to be chasing anything down. You're not going to be smoking anything in the paint. And like, there's just really no point in even wasting those points putting up a block to 40 when you ain't gonna get no blocks at 40 with a 40 rating. So I just went with 0 for a lot of these stats. The standing dunk, the post control, the perimeter defense obviously better with 75, and we do get bronze clamps on this build. 35 steal versus their 31 steal. Sure, we beat them out on that, but what's a 4-point difference? You're still gonna barely get any steals. We beat them out for defensive rebounding with the 70 versus the 66. Again, 35 to 40 offensive rebound, not much of a difference, but their rating is still higher, so I'll give them the win for that. The speed and acceleration is the same, but the 74 strength is higher. Our vertical at 69 is higher, and then our stamina at 99 is higher than their 94. So, in my opinion, once again, our build was better than 2K's template. Moving on to our next build, we have LaMelo Ball. So I'm showing you guys right here. This is LaMelo Ball's real stats. His outside scoring, inside defending, rebounding, playmaking, athleticism. Then moving on, you get to see that this is the 2K's template. 73 close shot, 88 layup, 83 driving, 75 mid, 82 3, 95 pass accuracy, and 87 ball handle with the 83 speed with balls. Pretty nice. Pretty average defense at a 71 perimeter defense, 60 defensive rebound, which means he'll have bronze rebound chaser, which is dope for this template. 82 speed, 84 acceleration, 70 vert with a 94 stamina. Not too bad stats, not crazy or gaudy, but not bad either. This would be a build that you could do decent work with. You got a high layup, decent dunk. I would probably drop that close shot to put the dunk up just a little bit, to get a little bit better dunking animations and badges. But, the finishing isn't that bad. I don't know why his finishing was rated so lowly, but the finishing is not that bad. The shooting could be better, especially the mid-range, but this isn't that bad either. The playmaking is where this build obviously excels. The playmaking and the physicals are really nice. And then the defense is kind of trash, but you got decent rebounding, at your height and that vertical, and then, decent perimeter defense where you will be able to stay in front of dudes or whatever. So, that's just what it is, and then this is the build that we made, or that I made. So, again, you're going to see that the finishing isn't as good, similar close shot, similar driving layup, driving dunk, much better mid-range at an 82, 3 balls similar, pass accuracy, ball handle, speed with ball, pretty much similar all around build. You see the decent perimeter defense, the rebounding, the speed and acceleration, along with the vertical and the stamina. I will say off rip that our physicals are definitely better in my opinion. And then here's the comparison. Now, I know you're going to see a lot of red. Again, on the left is our stats, and then on the right is 2K's template build or whatever. And I know y'all going to be like, wow, like, this is a lot of red. I'm seeing a whole lot of red, and they're beating you out. But, I still feel like our build is better, just because the things that they are beating us in as far as attributes, it isn't as big of a gap. You look at the close shot, they're up by 2 points. That's not much of a difference. The driving layup, 3 points, not much of a difference. The driving dunk is significantly better with the 83 versus the 75. I will give them that. But the 29 standing dunk and a 45 standing dunk, it's not going to make much of a difference. You're still probably not going to get many standing dunks, if any at all, with the 45 versus the 29. 0 post control versus the 25 post control. Like, let's be real, not much of a difference there either. Like literally not much of a difference at all. Like 0 post control, 25 post control makes no difference. 82 mid range, 75 mid range, obviously a big gap there. 81 three ball to their 82 three ball, literally a 1 point difference, not much of a difference there. 3 points in their free throw, 81 for us, 84 for them. Again, not much of a difference. Pass accuracy, that's a gap. Don't get me wrong, it is a gap, but it's not that big of a gap. And the reason why I say it is a gap is because of the badges that you're going to be able to reach at that 95 threshold versus a 91, which makes it a gap. But attribute wise, a 91 pass accuracy isn't that different from a 95. It's really just the badge, points that the badges that you're gonna have access to at a 95 versus a 91. That really makes that gap really big, in my opinion. But from the attribute standpoint, if we're not even talking about badges, we're talking about just attribute wise, 91, 95, not that big of a difference. Same thing with the 91 ball handle to the 87 that they have, not that big of a difference of 4 points, but the access to badges that we have is going to be a lot different at 91 versus 87. Speed with ball is the same at 83. Interior defense is better at 45 to 25. But again, like I said, and I don't just say that when their build attributes is better than the build that I created. I say that on both sides. Like our 45 interior defense isn't that much better than their 25 interior defense. This makes no difference. 45 interior defense, you're still going to get scored on in the paint. Just like when they have their 25 interior defense, they're still going to get scored on in the paint. So it's not going to make much of a difference. Our 70 perimeter defense to their 71, again, 1 point difference, not going to make any real difference. Our 48 steal to their 45 steal, again, not going to make much of a difference. The 0 block to their 44 block, again, 0 offensive rebound to their 25. Again, you're not going to get no blocks or offensive rebounds with a 25 offensive rebound or 44 blocks. So these I don't really see these as a W for them. Attributes like this, the 70 to 71, I don't really see this as a W. The only real W's I see are like, the pass accuracy, that's a W. The driving dunk, that's a W. In situations like that, I see those as W's. Even the driving layup, the 88 to 85, I see that as a W because the access to badges. But a 0 block and a 44 block, I don't really see that as a W for them. Even though it is, because their attributes are higher, it's just not a W to me. Again, 65 defensive rebound for us to their 60. It's a W for us, but not much of a difference. You're still going to have access to bronze rebound chaser. So at a 60 or a 65 is not going to really make much of a difference. 86 speed to an 82 speed, that's nice. 84 acceleration is the same across the boards. We have a 50 strength to their 38, which is important though because the strength is what's going to help you get badges like clamps. So the strength does matter. In this case, it's only a 12-point difference, but to me, it still matters. The vertical higher, and then, of course, the stamina only higher by 1 point. Not that much of a different attribute-wise, but badge-wise, that could be the difference between gold handles for days or silver handles for days, which is very important, playing a guard build. So there you have it. Those are the comparisons. I only did 3 builds, but, I mean, for the most part, I just feel like these template builds just aren't as good as the builds you guys can go out and make. So after, it's all said and done, should you be using the NBA 2K NBA player templates? Honestly, I think it really all depends on what you want and expect from the builds. If you're just using the templates as a sort of guide to help you style and craft the player or play style that you want, then for sure it's decent. But if you're expecting to use any of those builds to play like their NBA counterpart, then no, they 100% won't. And they aren't really worth using or even tweaking at all. You can literally go in there, grab the actual player stats, and then create the build and tailor that build to fit to the stats that they actually have on their real life build and probably make a better build than the NBA 2K template build. So that's just my opinion on this. It's been your boy Make America Lit. Please be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe for more NBA 2K24 content and, of course, build videos. I'm out, guys. Peace.